So I actually want to show you a fourth option for organizing your files in Canvas. I showed you option one, which was the Files tool, the option two, which was this, creating the home page with links to files, and then creating modules with links to files. But you might find that you have a lot of files to share with your students and you don't love modules because modules can get really, really, really long if you're sharing, lots and lots and lots of files with your students. And I'll let you decide how long is really long and how many is lots and lots and lots. But here's another option, and that is using links on pages. So you'll see on this home page, I have a link to this lectures and labs. And if I click on that link, I see that I've got a list of all the different lectures on another page. If I click on one of these pages, one of those links, I get another page with links to the files. So this is another way of organizing your content in Canvas. It doesn't use modules, but it does provide some structure that's very similar to how some of you might have set up your Blackboard courses. So in Blackboard, you may have had the lectures and lab link as a content area over in your Blackboard menu. As you know by now, probably, you can't create one of those in Canvas, but it's very similar. Instead, you just put the link on the home page somewhere like I have here. And then from there, it's going to be very similar to how it probably looked in Blackboard. In Blackboard, this is kind of like a content area where you can create more links, and then another content area where you can create more links and text and upload files, etc. So let me show you how to do this in case you're interested in this option as well. Give me 1 second to pause. I'll be back and I'll show you how I built this out. Okay, so in order to set up that structure, we're going to be on the Pages tool. When you go to Pages, you'll likely have to click on View All Pages if you have a front page set up for your course. So in Pages, we're going to add some pages here. The first one is going to be whatever that Lectures and Labs one, whatever you want to call that. So we'll call it, I'm going to just call it the same thing that it was called before. And this is the page that had just a list of all the different lectures. So lecture 0, and maybe you want to give it the name. We'll just give it topic name. Lecture 2, topic name. You get the idea. Lecture 3, topic name, and so forth. Okay, so that's going to be all we can do for now on lectures and labs. And I'm going to save and publish this page. Okay, so now I just have a page, no links yet, but we're good. Now I'm going to go back to View All Pages because I need to create another page for each one of those lectures. So this is going to be the lecture 0. And basically, in my case, what I'm going to be sharing with students is PowerPoints, and we'll do we'll say PowerPoint 1, PowerPoint 2. We're going to do handouts, and we'll say handout 1, handout 2, and then we'll also say websites. Okay, so basically, and of course we can change this as necessary, but the cool thing about this is that then this almost serves as a template that we can use for each one of our lectures. So I'm just going to organize this nicely because we can duplicate this and reuse it. Okay, so we'll do that for now. I'm going to hit save and publish. Now I've got that for lecture 0. I go back to View All Pages. I should see a couple new pages in there. There's the lectures and labs, and there's the lecture 0. Now I can go into my little 3 dots menu and say duplicate. And I can duplicate that as many times as I need to. If I go into this guy now and say edit, I can now call that lecture 1. And I can duplicate lecture 1 and call that rename lecture 2. So now we just have like a real basic, let me do one more. Lecture 2 copy, edit, lecture 3. Just a template to use as I'm building these out. Okay, so now I've got links that I can do, that I can add to my lectures and labs page. So if I go back into lectures and labs, I now have 0, 1, 2, and 3. To add links to those pages, I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to highlight the text, and then I'm going to come over to links, pages, and find those corresponding lecture pages. As I do that, I'm going to click here, and you'll see that this area shades yellow briefly. And as it's highlighting it, that link, that hyperlink, is then created. So you can see how that highlight happened. Lecture 1, Lecture 2, Lecture 3. Okay, we save that. All right, so now when I go to Lecture 0, I can actually go in and add the files that I need to for Lecture 0. So I can highlight my PowerPoint 1, and I come over to my files, and hopefully make sure you look at the first video about organizing the files in your files tool. Hopefully you've already done that, and you've got your, let's see, this is going to be PowerPoints. So we'll do that one, which shades it yellow, and then we'll do that one. And then let's say I have handouts that have already been uploaded, and I'm going to do this one and this one. And then for websites, I'm not linking over to this right side panel. For websites, I'm just going to highlight and then link to URL. And then maybe I'm putting in sdmesa.edu, or I'm putting in I'll just use that one. Okay, so then we save that. So lecture 0 is done, right? And students can click that preview button to access the file, or they can click on the link itself to download the PowerPoint. So you can kind of see how it starts building out. And I don't want to spend too much more time because you're going to decide how you want to have this structured, and of course, the links to the files. One thing we haven't done yet is put the link to that on our home page. So now we have to edit our home page and put the link to, let's make lectures and labs, lectures and lab resources, something like that. And lectures and labs, and maybe them some sort of lecture schedule file that we also want to give them. But this is going to be their link to that big page that we were just working on with the long list of lectures. So if we go to lectures and labs, there's that. So now they have a way to get to that, and we can test it. So home page, lectures and labs, lecture 0, and content. And then they go back, and you can go in, and these are just not hyperlinked yet, but you would go in and edit these with appropriate files. You can also just add text to this, right? It doesn't have to be links to files. So you could add instructions, you could add images, all sorts of stuff to these lecture quote-unquote folders, which are actually pages. So pages do function kind of like folders because you can put all sorts of stuff on them. Okay, that was longer than I wanted to talk about that, but hopefully it gives you another good option for organizing your content into linked pages. When you have a lot of content that maybe feels way too much to organize into a long list of modules all on one big scrolling screen. Thanks for watching.